Listening practice through dictation 4. School and family. Unit 21. Add, subtract, multiply, and divide.
Hello there, Terry. How are you doing?
Not too well. I'm really having trouble figuring out this arithmetic assignment. I can add and subtract pretty well, but without a calculator, it's difficult for me to multiply and divide. Hey, Olaf, I heard that you're excellent in math.
My technique is that I try to imagine pictures in my mind so the numbers aren't just figures on a page, but something I can apply to real life. One way I do this is to imagine the numbers as if they were money. For example, if the equation is 753 minus 236, I think about $7.53 minus $2.36. It's $5.17 or 517. Easy!
Wow, that does seem easier for adding and subtracting. But how do you apply this technique to multiplying and dividing?
Okay, suppose the equation is 200 times 30. 30 is 3 groups of 10. So first, I imagine 10 groups of people standing in a large field. Next to each group is a sign with the number 200 on it. At the front of the field is a huge sign with the number 2000 on it because 200 times 10 equals 2000, right? But the problem requires 200 times 10 3 times, so I just add 2 more fields of people to my picture with 2 more signs that say 2000. Now I have 2000 times 3. The answer is 6000.
Unit 22. I spy.
Dad, this is so boring, just sitting back here with nothing to do.
Playing a game is a fun way to pass time on a long car trip.
Okay, but what kind of game can we play when we're going 70 miles an hour in a car?
Well, when I was young, we used to play a game in the car called I Spy. One person decides on an object that he or she can see and tells us its color. Then the rest of us have to ask yes or no questions to try and find out what it is.
I'll go first, and I spy something that's…
Hey, I wanted to go first.
Billy, let your sister begin. Remember, it's considered good manners to let girls and younger children have their turn ahead of us.
Yeah, remember your manners, stupid.
Betsy, it's also good manners to treat each other with respect and not to call people names. I think you need to apologize to your brother.
I'm sorry, Billy. Let's start, okay? I spy something small and green. It's on the steering wheel and…
Stop, Betsy. Dad said that you're only supposed to tell us its color, not its size or location or anything else.
Oh no, I forgot.
That's okay, honey. Everybody makes mistakes. Remember the saying, if at first you don't succeed, try again.
Okay, let me try again. I spy something…
Unit 23. American Families Today.
American families today are very different from what they were about 100 years ago. The main difference is that families are now much smaller. In the past, most families lived on farms. They needed children to help them work. Today, most families live in cities. Parents do not expect their children to work for them. It is also becoming very expensive to raise and educate children. Many parents cannot afford to have a large family. Others think that there are already too many people in the world. If they have more than 2 children, it will increase the population. Also, the types of families are changing. Statistics show that there are more single parents than ever before. More and more unmarried couples are having children, and a growing number of couples are choosing to have no children at all. Traditional families, a married couple with children, live in less than 25% of all U.S. homes. One reason for this trend is the greater number of working women. In the past, women depended on their husbands for money. Now, many women have jobs. They don't have to be married to have money. Another reason is divorce. This is when a husband and wife decide not to be married anymore. Almost half of all U.S. marriages end in divorce. Many people decide not to get married at all. They prefer to be single and live without a husband or a wife.
Unit 24. Making decisions.
How does your family make important decisions? Do children have any say in making these decisions, or do parents simply tell them what to do? There are several different methods for making family decisions. One method is to have a vote. Each family member writes his or her own choice on a piece of paper. With this method, each person gets equal say in the issue being decided. What if the vote is a tie? You should think of an idea to break a tie before you vote. A second method is to give older children special privileges. If you're moving into a new home, for instance, the oldest child might get first choice of bedrooms. A third method is to take turns making the decisions. Suppose a family goes on vacation together each year. One year, they might let their daughter decide where they should go. The next year, the choice goes to the son. A fourth method is to let the head of the household decide what is best. That is the way we do it in my family. The head of our household, my father, listens to all our opinions. Then he makes a decision. We agree to follow his decision even if we don't like it. Making family decisions is not always easy. The important thing is to choose a method that everyone agrees on. That could cause a problem, however. Which method should you use to decide which method to choose for making decisions?
Unit 25. My favorite teacher. The best teacher I've ever had was Mr. Lambert, my high school French teacher. He was short with dark hair, a thick beard, and a big smile. His legs were short too, so his arms always looked too long. He was a very good teacher because he always brought so much energy to the classroom. His classes were never boring because he was always active, trying to find new methods to communicate ideas. Because he taught French, English wasn't allowed in class, so he often had to demonstrate the meaning of new words through gestures and acting. Once, he had to communicate the word above without saying it in English. First, he pulled a desk near the blackboard and then put a wastebasket between the desk and the blackboard. Next, he put his feet on the edge of the blackboard and his hands on the desk so that he was above the wastebasket. I've never forgotten that demonstration. It was difficult not to enjoy the subject when he was so excited about teaching it. The most important reason that Mr. Lambert is the best teacher I've ever had is that he loved all his students, even when we made him angry by speaking English in class. Whenever that happened, the students always felt guilty because they had so much respect for him. Now that I'm a teacher, I try my best to be like Mr. Lambert. He is my role model. People and Work. Unit 26. Meet Debra.
Hi, my name is Debra Garrell. I'm a 20-year-old communications major at New York University. I love being at university. I'm enjoying my courses, and I meet many new people every day. It seems like a new adventure, and I love adventures. I spent my childhood traveling all over the world and learning about different cultures. You see, my father works for the World Bank, so our family has always moved around a lot. I've lived in Mongolia, East Timor, Brazil, Nigeria, the Netherlands, and the United States. The hardest part of growing up was saying goodbye each time we had to move. But I would always remind myself that I would make new friends soon, and I always did. I've learned not to be shy. After leaving one place, I would always email or call my old friends. I would tell them about the new adventures I was having and ask them about new things in their lives. That is probably the reason I chose to major in communications. I like to keep in touch. It's obvious that I love to travel, isn't it? But I also enjoy dancing, reading, going to the theater, and riding horses. If you share any of these interests and would like to learn more about me, please let me know. And if you have different interests, I'll remind you, I'm always looking for a new adventure.
Unit 27. What's in a name?
Sai, do you have a local driver's license that we can rent the car with for our trip this weekend?
Sure, Jen. Here you are.
It says here that your name is Sarang Patel, but I thought your first name was Sai.
Sai is my nickname, and Sarang is my given name. It means navigator in Hindi. At the time I was born, things were confusing and difficult for my family in India. My parents wanted a son who could lead and guide our family to success.
Well, I just hope you can lead and guide all of us to the beach this weekend.
Ha ha, very funny. So, your nickname is Jen, and your given name's Jennifer. Do you know how you got that name?
Actually, I was named after my father's grandmother, Guinevere.
Wasn't Guinevere the wife of King Arthur in that old story from England?
Yes, she was. And her name means pure.
It's interesting how people get their names. In India, we don't name children after their relatives like they do in America. To me, it's strange to see names like Jack Johnson Jr. and George Bush Sr.
Usually, it's a way to show respect for a person, but some people make it ridiculous. You've heard about George Foreman, the famous boxer, haven't you?
No.
Well, he had 5 boys, and he named each one of them George, after himself.
It must be confusing when the phone rings at his house. Unit 28. The Right Career.
People need to consider important factors when choosing a career. In my opinion, the most important factor is to choose a job that goes well with your personality. Are you an outgoing person who loves meeting new people and talking to them? Perhaps you should become a tour guide or a teacher. Are you shy? Maybe you should be an accountant or a scientist. Remember, you will do your job almost every day. If you have to change your personality when you work, you probably won't be very happy. And neither will the people you work with. Nobody wants an unfriendly tour guide or an impatient teacher. Are you a moody person? In most jobs, you will be expected to control your emotions. That's hard to do if your mood changes often. In that case, you might want to work alone. Perhaps you could be a writer or an artist. There are other factors to consider, such as salary and status. However, what good is a large salary or high status if you don't like your job? You should consider your personality, find out what you are very good at doing, and then find the right career to go with all this. Too many people choose a career because it pays well. Too often, they find they don't like their jobs. But by then, they feel like they're in a trap, and they can't escape. Finding a good career is important. Think about it and choose carefully.
Unit 29. Body Language.
Did you know that words are not the only thing we use to communicate? Most of our messages are sent through body language. Only about 10% of communication is done through the actual words of a conversation. Isn't that strange? If we understand body language well, we can learn a lot more about what other people really think. We can also use body language to send the right message to others. Have you ever felt dislike for someone without knowing why? Well, he or she might have been sending out a negative message through body language. What kind of things should you look for if you want to understand body language? First, look at people's eyes. If people are lying, they may not look directly at the person they are talking to, and the pupils of their eyes may shrink. Next, look at people's arms. Arms crossed in front of the body might mean a person is unfriendly or afraid. He or she might be trying to say, "Stay away." If the arms are by the side or at the back of the body, the person might be saying, "Come closer. I won't hurt you." But keep in mind that there is no accurate way to interpret body language all the time. Sometimes, talking is still the best way to communicate. However, knowing about body language will improve the way you communicate and help you understand other people better.
Unit 30, Veterinarians. If you like animals and science, you might want to be a veterinarian. Veterinarians are animal doctors. They take care of sick and injured animals. Like doctors, vets perform surgery and give medicine. When an animal is sick, vets examine it to find out why. They look for clues in the way an animal looks and acts. For example, if a dog is walking in a strange way, it might have injured its leg. Vets need to observe animals carefully since animals cannot speak to tell anyone what is wrong. Vets prevent health problems in animals by giving vaccinations and checkups and fixing teeth. They also teach owners how to feed and train their animals. Vets use special tools to perform surgery. They fix broken bones, take out tumors, take x-rays, and treat wounds. Most vets treat small pets, including dogs and cats. A few vets focus on large animals such as sheep, cows, and horses. Large animal vets usually drive to ranches and stables where their patients live. Often they help when the animals give birth. Vets who work with large animals often work outside in all kinds of weather. A few vets work in zoos and aquariums. They care for zebras, sharks, and other wild creatures. Because animals can get sick at any time, vets often work long hours. Many vets like their work because they can be with animals every day, even though sick animals can sometimes bite or kick their vets.